everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. This is my weekly Finish It Friday video where I just show what I've been working on for the week, and you can actually see me working on a couple of projects. Before I go any further in the video, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. As you know, I have a goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers by next July 31st of 2022. And hopefully you saw the numbers at the beginning. We are currently at 8,337 subscribers, which is amazing. And I'm well on my way. We are well on our way to having a channel with um, 10,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, um, please go ahead and subscribe. You should see my picture there in the lower right-hand corner of this video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can join our quilt family and you won't be left out of any of the videos that I come up with. If you are a subscriber, make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. In this particular video, I'm actually working on the binding for my jewelry box quilt. That is a quilt along that I've been doing for the past few weeks, and I will link it in the description box below. Right now, I've taken the leftover strips from making my jewelry box blocks and creating the binding out of that. I typically sew my binding at a 45-degree angle, but for this one, since the strips are so small, I just sewed them end to end. I think the binding is still going to work. I've done that before on a scrappy binding, and it seemed to work out well. And so for the binding, I'm just using the strips that are the blues or greens. I did have some neutral leftover 2.5-inch strips, but I chose not to put them with as the binding because I ended up having enough blue to do it. If I didn't have enough blue, I would have alternated the blues with the neutrals. But since I had a ton of blue left over, I am able to do the binding this way. What's cool about this is that I don't have as many leftover strips and I can just use what I have. I prefer to make my binding right after I get done with my quilt top. I don't like to have to sew a binding after I've already been through the trouble of quilting a quilt. And usually at that point, I'm ready just to have the quilt done. So I don't want to sew another stitch except to add the binding. So I have that done usually at the beginning of the quilting process. In this video, I'm actually working on a commission quilt. Someone sent me the top and asked me to finish it out. They've also sent the backing fabric, and so all I'm doing is adding batting, quilting it, and doing some binding. This quilt top is very scrappy, as you can see. I still haven't taken a picture of it as we speak right now because I just have not. I laid it out on the floor, or you're going to see me lay it out on the floor, but I completely forgot to take a picture of it while it was on the floor. But it has a lot of, I would say simple piecing, but it's hand pieced, so I can't even really say simple. I don't know that hand piecing is all that simple, but there are some 9-patch blocks. There's some 4-patch blocks. There are half square triangles. It's a really beautiful piece of work, and you can see that in some parts, there's just enough fabric to make it fit or to make the pieces fit together. And I just love that scrappy part, that scrappy look on the quilt. I think it really works. It is, as I said, it's completely hand pieced. So if I were to flip it over, you would see that it's all hand stitching underneath that quilt. So I'm just pressing it out because I want to lay it on the floor and measure it. And that's what I usually do at the beginning of this process, is take the quilt, lay it out on the floor so that I can get a good measurement of it. The first reason that I'm measuring it is for the binding, so I know how much binding I need. And then the other reason is because of the batting. I'm going to cut the batting in this quilt too. And after I got done measuring it, it was about 84 inches long by 70 inches wide. So a pretty good sized quilt. It's going to be wonderful and interesting to piece it, not to piece it, to quilt it. And I am excited about that process. Now, what I'm doing at this point is I'm going to lay out the batting so that I can get it cut to a reasonable amount. The batting that I'm using is the Warm and White. Um, it's a 100% cotton batting, and when I quilt it, it's going to be pretty flat, and so I like that about it. The other thing that I'm doing here is I'm pressing the backing fabric, and this again was sent by the client, and so I was pressing that backing fabric, and I'm going to get that same fabric for the binding too. In this video, I'm actually working on the binding. What happened was after I got done with the other part, after I got done filming that 30 minutes, I kept working a little bit longer so that I could get that binding done. And I got that done yesterday on Wednesday. And so today, all I'm doing um, is pressing the binding. This is not a hard thing at all. It just takes time. So I'm using my time to work on this. And again, you notice that I'm working on the binding before the quilt is even quilted. That's just my way. It's my preference to get all of that done ahead of time. And I like to, as I'm working, I listen to music. I listen to motivational YouTube videos, all of that stuff, so that I can stay focused and get my work done. Okay, so you can see here, I'm still just pressing the binding and pressing and pressing and pressing. And then after I get done, I just I'm rolling it up, but I'm rolling it kind of flat. It's not going to be completely round. That's just my preference. I just like to have it rolled up like that all together. And it's going to, that way it'll fit somewhere nicely so I don't have to be concerned about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish pressing the backing fabric. My next step after I get done with this is going to be to go ahead and put that backing fabric together. And I'm not sure if you'll see that on another UFO video or if I'm just going to work on it off camera, because I am going to take some time on this. It really needs the time, but it's definitely worth it. I hope that you have enjoyed this Finish It Friday video. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.